Welcome. I hope your belief in the law of attraction is growing. And today I want to talk about a serious issue that not only prevents you from manifesting the life you want, but also decreases your quality of life in every way. This thing I'm going to be talking about is called catastrophizing or catastrophic thinking, which is a debilitating habit and program that many of us are running in our brains without even knowing it. So have you ever found yourself focusing on the worst case scenario or worried that something bad was going to happen when good things are happening to you in that moment? This anxious feeling that something or everything will inevitably go wrong is what catastrophizing or catastrophic thinking is. And in some cases, it's not even just feeling a little anxious. It can be downright fear and dread that is caused by this negative thinking pattern. Now, just a reminder here that if you or someone you know are suffering from catastrophic thinking and feel that you need to reach out to someone for help, please seek the appropriate medical help, and this video is not to be used as a substitute for professional treatment in any way, so view at your own discretion and take responsibility for your own well-being. Before we get into how to stop catastrophic thinking, it's important to understand why we do it and how this needs to be addressed if you suffer from doing this. Remember that most people who do this don't even really realize what they're doing and why they are doing it. And catastrophic thinking or catastrophizing can often just be their natural response to anything and everything in their life. The reason this is just not a simple case of negative thinking, and it falls more into the category of your mental programming, is because catastrophizing tends to be a pattern that those who are prone to doing this do for almost anything, and it's usually not an isolated occurrence, though it definitely can be. Again, it's more of a habit. They do this all the time. So when I say programming, I literally mean how your mind has been programmed to believe certain things since you were a child. From the time a child is born till about the age of 7 years old, their brain will be operating primarily in the theta brainwave state. This is why we say, a child's mind is like a sponge. It absorbs everything so easily. And while this is beneficial for learning and development, sometimes the things a child will absorb and believe will end up being negative limiting beliefs that can cause debilitating issues for the rest of their life, such as catastrophizing and expecting the worst in every possible situation. The theta state is essentially when you are at, your most programmable. So you can think of this like being hypnotized and unable to reject information that comes in. You're simply in record mode, and that is how you learn. That's basically how you learn things and make them stick so easily. Again, the problem is that our subconscious mind cannot reject any information, even if it's not true. So when you're in the theta state, not only is your subconscious mind unable to reject false information, limiting beliefs, and negative thought patterns, you are literally in record mode and downloading or printing all of that into your subconscious mind. This is a really deep subject backed by real science. Dr. Bruce Lipton talks about how our programming is responsible for how we live the rest of our lives, whether we know it or not. The programming is always running on autopilot. So the good news is that we can access the theta state and download whatever program we want by simply listening to and repeating the beliefs that we want to be running in our subconscious mind. The easiest way to do this is by simply listening to affirmations right before you go to bed and when you wake up, At those times, the brain is entering the theta state. So if you do this long enough, you will literally rewire your brain and rewrite the programs that your subconscious will be running. When you go to bed listening to affirmations while you're still awake, of course you can, hear them, and your conscious mind can argue saying, well, I don't really believe that, or that's not true. But the magic really happens when you fall asleep, and then your subconscious mind is still listening to the affirmations you're playing. Again, the subconscious cannot argue like the conscious mind, and it will simply begin to record the new beliefs and reprogram your mind to think more positively, or whatever it is you're trying to do. I hope it's positive though. So on a side note, this is why you should never fall asleep really listening to or watching TV or negative music, which is something that I used to do all the time when I was younger, and I'm sure many people do. When you do that, you are so vulnerable to any messages and beliefs that are playing. This is why TV shows are referred to as programming. When you watch long enough, you are essentially being hypnotized, and whatever beliefs or thinking patterns that the show or song are portraying are easily recorded in your mind. Go to sleep watching a horror movie, and there's a decent chance of having nightmares at some point. Go to sleep every night listening to, depressing news broadcasts, and there's a decent chance that when you look out at the world, all you will be focused on is the problems of society. So really think about how many movies you've seen where there is a happy family driving down a road, everyone is laughing and having a good time, right? How many times have you turned to the person during that scene when you're watching the movie or show and you said something bad is going to happen right now, or at least thought it? So we think like this because we have been programmed by all the shows and movies that have scenes depicting a happy scenario turning into a catastrophe. Would a little kid expect that to happen? Probably not, right? Because they haven't seen it before, so they aren't programmed to expect the worst case scenario. Now, I'm not saying that there are sinister reasons for how they develop a story for a show or a movie, but when you've seen it enough times, you not only expect it to happen in every movie or show you see, it begins to leak into your own life and how you habitually think in your own mind and about the world around you. So on this channel, you will find a number of affirmation videos, but what I wanted to make was one specifically for this issue, for catastrophizing, catastrophic thinking. And if you think you do this, I think it would be beneficial to listen to it regularly and see how you begin to lean away from negative thought patterns, particularly when things are going good and there's no reason to think negatively or to expect the worst. I will link that video below, or you can find it among my other affirmation videos, which you can set to loop so they will play again and again for as long as you need. So if you take one thing away from this, realize that catastrophic thinking is a negative thought pattern that has no basis in reality. There is nothing in the universe that says that just because things are going well, that something bad will inevitably happen. There isn't more of a chance of things going wrong, period. So expecting the worst with anxiety and fear is not a good way to live, and if you're trying to manifest, those thoughts will hinder your results. So when you say something like, "Of course that happened, that always happens to me," the truth is that it always happens to you for no other reason than that being your dominant belief. If you live and embrace the identity of a victim of life, then your circumstances will certainly not disappoint you and, give you exactly what you believe. So I urge you to take a look at how you are thinking. And if you need to reprogram your catastrophic thinking, by trying to be more positive as much as possible, and by listening to affirmations, then by all means do that and use the videos that are on this channel, such as the one that I will link below. But again, you can use any affirmations at all, and they could be from this channel or any other channel. But I do hope that you use the resources and put an end to this negative thought pattern. I hope this helps.